I do not know about you, but the Cambridge Analytica stuff and all of the other stuff around democracy and social media has kind of freaked me out. Freaked me out to the point where I've overread articles about it, and then freaked me out to the point where I don't think about it at all because I'm like, what is real? Recently, I picked up this book, The People versus Tech: How the Internet is Killing Democracy and What We Can Do to Save It. In it, Jamie Bartlett examines what he calls the 6 pillars of democracy. Now let me see if I can remember them. Active citizens, shared culture, free democracy, broad economic economy, the economic economy, of course, broad economic equality, competitive markets and civic freedom, and the big one, trust in authority. And how all of those things are under threat from stuff like AIs and big data and smartphone addiction, stuff like that. Now, to celebrate the publication of The People versus Tech: How the Internet is Killing Democracy and What We Can Do to Save It, I am collaborating with the lovely people at eBay Publishing at Penguin for this video. It's such a huge topic and the book is so thorough and covers so much that I thought today I would corner a tiny bit of it, one of the pillars of Jamie's 6, and unpack it in my own way, and unpack it in a way that I'm incorporating into my life. But personally, when I was reading this book, all of these pillars sound pretty important, so I would advise picking up and giving the whole thing a read. The pillar I'm going to be tackling in today's video is active citizens. Now, I don't know if you've been watching the news lately, but it would seem to me like us millennials are going to have to pull off some really impressive Dumbledore's army manoeuvres if we're going to sort this world out. For me, it's really easy to passively walk through my work life, through my whole day, through my relationship with my smartphone, and not really consider it. Even my interactions with the wider world, with the news and politics, can become pretty muscle memory-ish, you know? But I've decided no more. I'm not having it. I am not having it. So here are 5 ways you can join me in getting off my metaphorical butt and being active as hell. First off, oh my god, we need to sort out our smartphone addiction. I can lose hours on this Black Mirror and not even notice. One of the most obvious ways for tackling this is that I just turn it off more. I think I got into a habit of turning things on silent when I wasn't using them, or, you know, so when I pick them up, even if they were on silent, I could see what had been going on while I hadn't been looking at it. And it was just this passive thing that I was clicked on. So actually, for hours of a time a day, I will turn my phone off, and I've hopefully started to build people's expectations into that, because I feel like when you have WhatsApp and you have all these like ways that people can message you, they expect you to be online all the time. So I've stopped making excuses for when I haven't messaged somebody back within like 8 hours, because that's an unreasonable amount of time. We've got to stop this expectation that people are always on and disposable to each other. I want to lower people's expectations for how often they will be able to talk to me online, and higher their expectations of how often they might be able to see me in person. I also downloaded this app, 100% not spawn, called Moment. It tracks how long I am on my phone every day, and it doesn't seem to count like my Audible stuff, because I do listen to Audible a lot, which I don't think should count, and it doesn't seem to have done that. So for instance, yesterday I was on my phone for 28 minutes, which is in the green section. There's other days when I have been on for it longer, but I am a social media manager, so I feel like I tweeted about this, and it was astonishing how many other people like had it or went to download it and then were on the red section or on orange, which means that you spend like more than 2 hours a day on your phone. So that was really useful. I turn my data off when I'm out and I'm not trying to contact people, so that I like take a picture of something, because often like the thing is like, oh, I'm going to take a picture of that for Instagram stories. So I do that, but I don't post it straight away. And it often means that I post less, because I'm like, actually, out of that moment, that's not a really very interesting picture. But at the time, you're so excited to be out that you're like, must post this now. And then I've also started carrying around this little bad boy, which is my emergency phone. So I still have a phone on me for emergencies, and it has my boyfriend's number and my family's number on it. But apart from that, it's just a phone. So if I'm late for somebody, I can just call them and be like, hi, I'm going to be late. No other things happen on it. So I really love having that just as a really easy thing to pop in my bag when I'm at it's a weekend, I'm off. The second thing I'm trying to do is smash my echo chamber. Now this feels like a really like woolly term, like how do you really do this? An echo chamber is where you put your own opinions out to the world and you hear them echoed back at you. People literally, you'll tweet something and other people on your timeline will be repeating the same experiences and the same attitudes and the same points of view back to you. So you always feel like you're being agreed with, and everybody outside that seems illogical, off their rocker, not cool. And it's a bit too stark of a difference for me. I want a little bit more of an onion in the way I see that. If you are on your Facebook is the biggest focus of this for me. When I go onto Facebook, you can click the little arrow in the top right. This does happen though sometimes, and I've got no idea how to put this on silent. On your Facebook profile, go to the top right hand corner. There's an arrow there, drop it down. Down there, next to settings, there is a button called News Feed Preferences. In that, you can choose lots of things. One of the things that I've chosen to do is reconsider the people I have unfollowed over the years. I have unfollowed people that I'm friends with on Facebook for a number of reasons, but sometimes that is because their opinions are really different to mine, particularly politically. And I have reconsidered some of those, and I've refollowed people. I've put them to the top of my priority list because I've realised I want to hear those opinions and I should be reading them. Another thing is to prioritise who you see first. So I've put in my prioritisations official news outlets, ones that I respect, and also ones that are like up there or not up there, and I've added those, gone to like those pages and prioritise them in my newsfeed because I want to see what the big broadsheets that I disagree with are saying. I also have tried venturing into right-wing YouTube. Far-right YouTube is a very strange place to be, but I'm trying to find some more people in right-wing YouTube to watch, and I have a few, but I don't know if I'd recommend them, so I'm still trying to find my way with that. So if you have any suggestions for people who are right-wing, not far-right, but just right-wing, please do leave them below because I would love to hear about them. The next thing is teach yourself critical theory. That sounds scary. It's not, I promise. Take that from somebody who got a D in their critical thinking A-level. Critical thinking is a way of explaining why an argument is broken, why an argument is jumping from one conclusion to the next without following something through. Logical fallacies is getting the argument wrong, and most people on both sides of the spectrum should agree with these fallacies and why they're not legitimate arguments. So I picked up an illustrated book of bad arguments, which is where they break down all of these arguments and ways of explaining it with the animal kingdom. And it's really short, it's really simple, and I found that a really good refresher. And even if you don't use the actual names for these arguments, because most of them are like Latin, they're quite simple to understand, and you can still explain to somebody why that argument doesn't make sense without using all of this jargon. But it's a really good background to have, I think. Just like anything else, discussing and arguing is a skill, and it's something that we should all be working at if we're gonna become active citizens. The fourth point is break the ad model. As they say, if you're not paying, you are the product. I've started to make more conscious choices when it comes to where I put my money and why. And one of the big things I've been trying to do this year is put my money behind the content that I use, with people who, to my mind, will use that money to not treat me as a product and just make good content and serve it to me. We started to expect a lot of things for free, which I think is really cool that things are free, but it does mean that there is a payoff for that. There is always, you know, if you really want legs from Ursula, you might have to give up your voice. So I've started paying the pool, £3 a month. You can join this thing called the Editor's Circle, and they send you a really good newsletter. I really respect them. I started paying for The Guardian, and I have also started a paper subscription to O Comely, which is a really good quality feminist, beautifully produced smart thinking magazine, which I love, and I buy individual copies, but I've decided to pledge and subscribe for the whole year, which I'm really excited about, and it's a way to slowly consume thoughts and ideas about the world that have been thought out, and kind of like a delayed gratification rather than instant. So yeah, I've started paying for stuff because it works towards a world where you don't have to be the product to get something for free. The fifth point kind of ties into that. It's reading long form, well-established content, usually in the form of my favourite thing, books. Headlines and snap journalism are only part of what it means to be an active citizen. And it also means reading longer form things like this that have really thought through the topic and explained it over a long period of time, because some things you can't explain in 5 minutes. You need a couple of hours to really lay that out and understand something in its entirety. So I think when I am nervous about a topic, I am much more likely to pick up a book than I used to, rather than search out the shortest news article on something or a Wikipedia page. If you're interested in a much better explanation of the active citizens and the other 5 pillars of democracy, do not forget to pick up a copy of The People versus Tech: How the Internet is Killing Democracy and What We Can Do to Save It by Jamie Bartlett. I will leave a link in the description if you would like to check it out. Thank you so much for watching. Leave your tips for how you think we could be more active citizens in the comments below, because I know I've missed them out and I know I could do better, and that is what you are for. Thanks for watching. Frogsnog out.